Bonjour, welcome back, and I'm going to be showing you how to do some nude florals with chrome dots. Now you're going to need a selection of gel polishes for this. I'm using a nudie pink and a white, so whichever brand you've got. So I'm just going to paint a couple of tips with 2 coats of your chosen nude, and also 2 tips with your chosen white. You can do it white, you can do it cream, you could do it a paler nude. It's completely up to you. So we're going to do 2 coats of each of these on our tips. So what I want you to do then is take your 2 whites and use your favourite matte top coat. Mine is Velvet Matte from Nailchemy. And I want you to matte top coat just the 2 white ones, leaving your nudie one naked, for want of a word. So leave it nudie Rudy, because we're going to be painting all over that tip, whereas the white ones we're going to be doing more of an accent. So I'm going to put the matte top coat on there just so that I can do what I need to do on top of this one. So, and I do find as well that striping tape sticks better to matte. So what I've got now is I'm going to just grab my flexible striping tape, which you can get from Katie Barnes. So this is flexible striping tape. It bends, you can put it in S shapes and circles. I'm going to take my tweezers, I'm going to choose a nice thin strip, and I'm going to place that onto the bottom corner of my nail. So I'm just pushing that down, pressing it in. Remember, you've got a top coat on there, so pressing it in is fine. You're not exposing yourself because you've already got the top coat on there. And then just snip that off. And repeat that on the top corner of your other nail, or anywhere where you want it to go. Then I'm going to get my palette, and on there I'm going to put Vintage Rose, which is the nude colour I used, and also Mandrake Root, the brown is called. So I want a darker brown and the colour that I've used for the background. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix those 2 colours together, and the reason why I'm mixing those 2 colours together is I want 3 different colours really. So I want the background colour and I want 2 other contrasting colours, one darker and one mid-tone, and then I'm going to paint that onto my nail tip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to firstly use Mandrake. So Mandrake is the deep nude brown, and I'm going to, it's a nudie brown, it's not a reddy brown, it's more of a beigey brown. So I'm going to pop this on and I'm just going to paint my petals. Now I try and do my petals as always in odd numbers. This is because it does look slightly more aesthetically pleasing than doing it in even numbers. So I will add to that one a little later on. You will see I do add to that petal later on. So these are just teardrop shaped petals that I pull out. I do try, if I can, to make them less uniform. So I try to make some sides thicker than the others, and maybe make some ends pull them out a little bit thinner. So I do try and make them all just a little different, so they're not all exactly identical. So I'm putting a whole flower here. So you'll see the rest of them, I'm putting kind of half or 3/4 flowers, and that just kind of makes the design a little bit more appealing. So I'm working on my big flower here, so I'm just doing that background. So this is going to be our base. So we're going to layer on top of this. So it's going to give it the depth and the illusion that there's more than one layer. So I'm just going to finish off these brown flowers. And then what we're going to do when we've actually done the petals is we're going to put a very, very, very thin matte top coat on top. And when I say very thin, it's simply because we're going to be doing another layer of matte in a little while, and it's these layers of matte top coat that kind of almost magnify, and you can actually see the separations in the layers, and it looks amazing. So just my last little flower here. So this is just plain gel polish, no fancy gel paint this isn't, this is just gel polish. So I'm just adding that 3rd petal there and just darkening up those petals a little, so they look less translucent. And I'm going to pop that in the lamp to cure. Okay, so that's going in the lamp to cure. While that's curing, I'm going to take my matted nail with the strip on, and again, like I've said, the reason why I like to matte top coat is because the strip sticks better. I find that when it's in the sticky layer, these particular strips, I don't get the adhesion that I get when I use it on matte. That's just my personal preference. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a design around that bendy strip that I've put on. It was a rose gold one. You can get rose gold and silver. I'm sure that other people will be able to tell you where to get those from. So this is my other nail, and I'm just going to draw a random half flower on this as well, a couple of nice half flowers, just the bottom of the leaves, just the bottom leaves, because we're going to layer this as we layered the rest, as we're going to layer them all. So you must keep those matte top coats thin, super, super thin, not too thick, otherwise the nail will be like a skyscraper when you've finished, and you don't want that. So nice and thin, all the layers super thin. So I'm still carrying on now with these little accents. So I'm pulling out, you know, when I want to get kind of the top of the petal, I pull out from the product that I've already got on there. Try not to use too much product because you'll just end up with a messy blob. And just make that a 3-prong petal there, 3-prong flower. And then they're going into cure as well. So now I'm going to mix those two colours, so my base colour from my nude and the mandrake root that I've used for the bottom petal. I'm going to mix them as a mid colour. Okay, and this mid colour is going to give me yet another layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to matte top coat this. So I'm going to matte top coat this first before I paint, because I want to give it that layered effect. So a very thin matte top coat and cure on all of these. So a nice thin layer of matte top coat. And again, when you finish the design, you'll understand why. You can almost see the separation in the layers, and it looks awesome, and it kind of blurs out. The more the layers go back, the blurrier that background becomes, which makes it a little bit more exciting. Sorry, I got a little bit of fluff on that. Do excuse my nails, ladies and gents. I'm in lockdown and I can't be bothered, in fairness. I don't think anybody can. So I'm sure you'll forgive me on this occasion. So I'm back now. This, you can see that's been matted. So I'm going to use the mid colour that I've made now to, I'm just going to darken that a little bit. You don't want it to be the same as the background, and you don't want it to be the same as the base. You need it to be a completely separate colour. So as I put that down, it was a little light. So I've just added a little bit more dark. That is much better. So now I'm going to just paint in between the flowers, in between these, the bottom petals. I'm going to then paint a few on the top. Now I'm not doing 5, I'm doing 3. Because otherwise it's going to look too much. So I'm just doing kind of 3 on each of these now. Same shapes. So just that teardrop shape. Do a blob and then pull out the bottom and pull out the top with a nice thin brush if you have to. So this brush that I've got at the moment is the Phantom from Crystal Nails. I've got lots of brushes. I love all my Flo and Ellie brushes. I love my Crystal Nails brushes. I love my Aera Puffing brushes from Georgie Smedley Group. Anything that's long and wonderful, and but this is particularly good. The Phantom holds a lot of gel paint, a lot of paint in its belly. So it means that I can paint bigger detail, and you'll notice that I swap my brush later when I go to paint the finer lines, and it's important that you understand what each brush does. So something with a larger belly will hold more product for a bigger design. So what I'm doing now is loading that brush and using it as a dotting tool. So I'm just going to put that mid-brown colour and place a few dots on the background areas that aren't actually being used for anything at the moment. So that's going to go into the lamp. And then I'm going to do the same on these flowers on the accent nails. I'm going to just pop a couple of petals in there. And again on the top side, I'm just going to do another one up the top here. just pop that one into the lamp. I'm just going to pop a few more dots on here first. So all this side, so the larger part now of the white nail, I'm going to just dot up, just using the end of my brush. I'm not getting a million different tools out. It's a nice thick brush, so there's loads of paint in that belly, and with a very light touch you can make a very, very cute little dot. So great for salon speed. And then this is my other accent nail, and you'll see when these are all put together that they are opposite sides. So I'm just going to pop in, you can see there I've popped the dots in the smaller half, this is the smaller quarter of the separated white there. I'm just again going to put those second petals on, and then they're going to go in the lamp as well. So these are all going to be lamped. So tack-free art gel, that was very quick, it speeded past. So I'm now going to use a white tack-free art gel on the top of these. Now the reason why I'm using tack-free is because I don't want to have to wipe it, I want to have to leave it. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm just popping a white, no wipe top coat, matte over the top, so nice and thin, and no wipe matte top coat going over the top, nice and thin, because again we're adding layers, so I'm going to do that to all three of these before we go in with the white detail and the chrome dots. So this is going to be our finishing layer. So this layer is going to be our finishing layer, and we're going to literally go over the top of this. We're not going to top coat anymore. This is the last top coat, okay? So nice, thin, even, neat finishing layer to work on, and then we can start adding those white details. So here's my aero puffing linear brush. You can see how thin it is. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing some little leaf patterns. So I'm doing one single line, and then I'm using that really thin linear brush to draw out those little leaves and draw out the points on them. Now, if you haven't already and you want to know how to paint fine lines, I have an educational mat out which you can get on the Be Inspired online platform, and it specifically deals with how to paint a fine line. Now it isn't easy, you have to train your hand. I have got years and years to go till I'm like 100% happy with my line. But from what my lines are now to what my lines were years and years ago, I've had to really work on. And it's like exercising. It's like any muscle. You have to train that muscle in order to be able to paint. And that's exactly what my mat does. So you will get a mat and full education on the Be Inspired platform, and I will teach you how to paint a line backwards, forwards, upside down, in circles. So we're going to be training our hand to go in all directions and paint the finest of lovely lines. Okay, and I'll put that link in the description. So I'm just now still painting, and you can see how this white paint kind of pops and it draws everything out, and it gives it yet another layer and another dimension. And I'm going to use the same brush. I'm using the brush again in a sec. I'm going to be using this brush to put the pollen inside the flowers. So I'm going to be using my brush, the very, very end of it. I'm going to be loading it with my tack-free paint. Again, it's tack-free because I don't want to have to worry about a sticky layer on it, okay, because I want to do some chroming in a minute, so I need to be very careful. So now I'm just going to use that really long brush, and I'm going to do some teeny tiny dots in the middle of my flowers. It makes it go pop. So anything you do on top with this white will make it go pink. Okay, you could go to town with the detail on this, but I'm keeping it simple just because it is a simple salon design. Okay, I'm not one for fluffing it up. We're in a salon, we need to get our clients in and out, and this will allow us to do this. So this design will be amazing for spring, autumn. You could use your different seasonal nudes as well to do different colours of this design and change it up a little bit. You could use blues and purples, and there's lots and lots that you could do with it. So again, on here we're just going to pop the little white pollen on the inside of that flower, and again on the other nail, the other white nail, we're going to pop a little bit of pollen on that as well. That was one of those moments where you're not quite sure whether you should add something else. Did you notice? We all have them. I know we do. So add those dots in and cure. So now we're going to do the chroming. So what I'm using is a no wipe shiny top coat this time, because we know that the chrome powders, they like a no wipe top coat. So I've just got a no wipe top coat, my linear brush, and I'm just going to pop some little clear dots of no wipe top coat randomly over this nail. Now remember that the white isn't sticky because it was a tack-free art gel, so you can use that and it doesn't matter what you do now. The chrome doesn't stick to it, it will only stick to this no wipe top coat. And then I'm going to get my chrome and I'm going to just rub it on those little knobs. There we are, rubbing the knobs, ladies and gents, that's what we're doing. Now I absolutely love my chromes, and you can get so many, and this is one I bought from Crystal Nails a long time ago, and I don't re-buy my chromes because the chromes last so long, so I tend not to stock up on them too much. So once I've done that, I'm going to get clear top coat again, shiny top coat. And on those, just dusting that excess off, and we're going to wipe at the end, so don't worry about that. So where we've done the dots, where we've chromed, I'm going to put another blob of clear, shiny top coat on the top to seal that chrome in. So it is going to be a little bit sticky out, it is going to be a little bit textured, but that's what makes it exciting. Lifts it to another layer, so to speak. You could completely matte top coat the whole thing again and have matte chrome dots, but I like the fact that it's raised and they're shiny. And I'm going to repeat that, so I've just popped that one into cure, ladies and gents. I've not gone mad, it is gone in the lamp to cure, and I'm just doing the same again on the dots on the two white nails. So I'm repeating that process. So there's my one come out the lamp. I'm using a white with isopropyl on, just to a bit of gel cleanse to clean any little bits. We know what chrome's like for sticking. Clean any little bits of chrome off. This one is now cured and come out, so I'm going to do the same again. Here is each of those dots. I'm going to give it a little rub with my chrome powder. And then I'm going to seal that in with shiny top coat again. Okay, so shiny top coat, because it's chrome, we want it to show. We want it to stick out, so to speak. So cover those up there with shiny top coat. Amazing. Pop that on there like that. My knobbles, it's a very Derbyshire word, a knobble. Pop that in the lamp, and we've done the same as well on our little one here. So we've just put a few little dots there. And I'm going to do that same process and repeat all of that so that we have little chromy dots. And we're going to give those a wipe as well afterwards with our isopropyl wipe, just to get rid of any bits. Clean them all up nicely, and you're not taking anything off. You're just leaving those lovely dots there. And I think this design is really, really pretty and really, really classy, and you can adapt it to any colour, really. Just remember those light, dark and mid-tones. There you have it. Nudie Doodie Chromes. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.